So far, anyone who has tried 3D scanning and creating 3D Gaussian splatting models has probably been amazed by how photorealistic those models look. But what about in practice? How accurate can Gaussian models actually be, and can they be used in designs where proportions and dimensional accuracy matter? Here I have an empty and very simple accessory bag that I bought from a local hardware store for my design project. My intention is to make this a bag where I can fit and organize all my 360 cameras and other related accessories that are needed for 3D scanning. Although the bag itself is a very simple object, and its most relevant dimensions are easy to take with a traditional tape measure, I was interested in whether I could actually utilize 3D scanning tools in this design and what tools I could find in various mobile apps. I find KIRI Innovation Solutions and their KIRI Engine application fascinating, as it acts as a kind of a Swiss Army knife when we want to perform 3D scans on our mobile phones. It is a very versatile application that offers the ability to create 3D models with almost every scanning method imaginable. And the best of all, it is designed to work with both iOS and Android systems. So more users have the opportunity to try out the KIRI's 3D scanning features. But I think Apple's iOS users will benefit a lot from it because it is able to utilize the LiDAR scanner that is found at least in the iPhone Pro models. But if you ever tried your phone's LiDAR features with other apps, you probably noticed that the end result doesn't produce a very accurate or useful 3D model. The LiDAR scanner embedded in phones can't see very far, so it's not capable of producing as accurate final results, which would be expected from a system that uses laser light for scanning. This has been the case for a relatively long time, and the LiDAR feature have been developed very slowly on the mobile devices. However, in the latest version of KIRI Engine, this feature has now been taken forward, and the mesh structure generated from the point cloud can be enhanced with AI technology. Jack Wong talks more about this feature in his video on the KIRI Engine channel. I'll put the link in the description. This LiDAR feature started to interest me, so I wanted to try it out to see if it could help me with my utility bag measurements. But in addition to this, I also wanted to see how Gaussian splatting scanning could be utilized in this design. Although it is probably already clear that a model produced with the Gaussian splatting technique is not necessarily the best possible format for dimensionally accurate models. Due to its view-dependent feature, the end result is only photorealistic and can be used mainly for visual purposes. The model itself may look rather good quality, but since it is made up of individual points and different shaped Gaussian bubbles, the surface and the details of the object are not always perfectly sharp. For example, when I scanned a Gaussian splatting version of this object, this bottom part of the bag, which should be perfectly flat, appears like there's some special mist and hazy particles in it. And when we rotate the model to different angles, we can't be completely sure whether the surface of the bag is flat and straight as it should be. However, KIRI Engine also has a feature that allows scanned Gaussian models to be generated as mesh models. So for comparison purposes, it is also a good idea to upload the data to the cloud and let the application process it. When we have a proper surface model of the model that is built from traditional polygons, we have a better chance of taking measurements from it. While the 3D GS to mesh process was underway, I had time to do the LiDAR scan of this bag. KIRI Engine has two features for this purpose. One is the object capture method, which, as the name suggests, is designed for capturing individual objects. And the other method is scene scan, which in turn allows for larger areas, such as interiors, to be captured. So naturally, I started with the object scan method. It is a somewhat special mode that progresses step by step. At the beginning, the target area is defined by editing a 3D wireframe box and checking that the object to be scanned is inside it. Then the scan is carried out by going around the object in circles and capturing it from different heights. At the same time, a point cloud is formed as a separate element at the bottom of the screen, and I found this a bit distracting, and it took some time to get used to it. Also, separate rotating marks and these bars around the 3D point cloud indicates how accurately the object will be captured from all sides. Although these special AR elements and hints about the direction of the shot may look visually rather cool, I found after a couple of experiments that they are actually quite distracting and annoying elements, that when you stare at them, the focus from the actual scan goes somewhere else. But there are also a few haptic and sound effects that signals when the camera has taken a picture of the object. I think these signals works better than the visual cues, and the scan could have been done with them alone. Anyway, I finally managed to run the object scan method and upload the data to the cloud. And once the 3D files were processed, I was able to download them and open them in Blender software for more accurate comparison. The mesh model that was generated from the Gaussian model turned out to be pretty good quality, but an interesting lump formed at the bottom of the bag. This was exactly the area that made me wonder in the original Gaussian splatting model, and now we can see how the conversion interpreted that area that was intended to be smooth and flat. Well, fortunately this bump is relatively easy to fix and edit out with Blender's own editing and sculpting tools. In the end, I was quite amazed how good looking and shape intact the 3D GS to mesh conversion turned out to be. Although we don't do much with the image textures for this design purpose, even without them we can see that the 3D shapes are quite well captured, even though the scanning was made pretty quickly and the object itself is quite simple. But was this model in correct scale? How well did the proportions hold up? The original dimensions that I measured with the tape measure were 44 centimeters long and 34 centimeters wide, and the depth was 6 centimeters. When taking measurements from the model, it appears that the 3D GS to mesh model is about 10 centimeters larger than the original. So the dimensions don't match exactly, but since we know the correct proportions, we can use the scaling tool and set the model to the correct scale by entering the length value correctly. This way, it seems that now all the other dimensions of this accessory bag are in place, so the model can be easily set to reasonably accurate measurement format. But how about the model that was LiDAR scanned? The LiDAR version of the model was generally quite clean, at least no extra bumps were noticeable, but its geometric structure was not as precise. In addition, some surprising holes were found in the walls of the accessory bag. But dimension-wise, the measurements were right away very close to the truth, so it didn't need to be scaled at all. So in this respect, this model could also be used as a design reference. But then I started to wonder if, since this LiDAR result scanned with the object capture method looked so round, it might not be utilizing those AI-enhanced features I was talking about earlier. And when I looked into the matter further, I discovered that indeed the object capture method does not actually support these features. But the scan should have been done in the scene scanned mode in order to properly utilize these AI features. So I made yet another scan from the back by using this scene scan method, and after a while, when the AI enhanced tricks were done to it, I could download and open it in Blender. And here it is. This LiDAR scanned version turned out to be definitely better than the other one made with the object capture method. It seems that it really got and understood the flat inner surface of the bag correctly. It seemed very flat, and it was definitely the most straight version compared to the other scans. Although there was some issues with the wall structure, but it probably was my own mistake since I made the scanning a bit too fast in that side of the bag. But overall, this LiDAR scan looked very nice, and also the dimensions turned out to be nearly in the correct readings. So this model version is definitely usable for designing the inserts and other placement parts for my camera accessories. I believe this experiment showed that 3D scanning can be used as a reference in the implementation of dimensionally accurate plans. Although a good old tape measure is still a pretty handy tool, these digital methods can also be utilized for various practical needs. It also proves that KIRI Engine's scanning services are highly adaptable and advanced for various tasks. Many of these features go beyond standard photogrammetry-based scanning methods, and I was impressed by how it was possible to convert a Gaussian model to a mesh format, even though it seemed practically impossible just a little over a year ago, because Gaussian technology and mesh models are so fundamentally different from each other. The development of LiDAR is also very positive and welcome thing. Finally, I can consider phone LiDAR for proper scanning work. It will be interesting to see where it develops further with these new AI innovations. I recommend trying out the scanning capabilities of KIRI Engine. I hope this video was inspiring and helpful. And as always, if you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I will continue to design and build my utility bag further. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.